Hello everyone, Sangeeta here. Today's my topic for discussion is phenylalanine and tyrosine metabolism. Regarding phenylalanine, phenylalanine is one among the aromatic amino acids. Aromatic amino acids are phenylalanine, tyrosine and tryptophan having a benzene ring attached to the side chain. Then it is an essential amino acid. Essential amino acid means it should be supplied through the diet. Body cannot be synthesized phenylalanine. It is both glucogenic and ketogenic. The meaning is that after the catabolism, the carbon skeleton of the phenylalanine molecule can enter for the synthesis of either glucose through gluconeogenetic pathway, or it can enter for the formation of ketone body through ketogenesis. It can be converted into tyrosine, that is referred as a sparing action of tyrosine on phenylalanine. That means phenylalanine, if it is supplied through the diet, it can be converted into tyrosine in the body. That means the sparing action of tyrosine on phenylalanine. Now, the first reaction during the metabolism of tyrosine is that the synthesis of tyrosine from phenylalanine. The difference between phenylalanine and tyrosine is only an additional hydroxyl group in the phenylalanine molecule makes the structure of tyrosine. So, the reaction is hydroxylation. That means the conversion of tyrosine is done with the help of enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme with the help of coenzyme NADPH, tetrahydrobiopterin and Fe2 plus as the coenzyme. The reaction is an irreversible reaction. The reaction cannot be converted back. And this enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase is a monooxygenase enzyme. That means during the incorporation of molecular oxygen, only one oxygen atom will be incorporated for the formation of hydroxyl group. The second oxygen atom will be reduced as water. And the hydrogen will be donated by the coenzyme tetrahydrobiopterin. And itself will be reduced to dihydrobiopterin. And this dihydrobiopterin can be resynthesized with the help of another enzyme dihydrobiopterin reductase enzyme in presence of the coenzyme NADPH. So in this reaction, phenylalanine will be converted into tyrosine with a single hydroxylation reaction with the help of enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. You can see an additional hydroxyl group in phenylalanine structure makes the structure as tyrosine. This reaction is very important. The deficiency or absence of this enzyme phenylalanine hydroxylase can lead to one of the important inborn error of metabolism which associated with the phenylalanine and tyrosine metabolism, that is known as phenylketonuria. Now let's go in detail about the metabolism of phenylalanine and tyrosine. We can give any one of the heading because once the tyrosine is synthesized from phenylalanine, we can write it as metabolism of tyrosine. So the first reaction we have already explained. Now the second reaction is tyrosine undergoing transamination by giving its amino group to a keto acid, that is alpha ketoglutarate, and synthesis of new amino acid as glutamic acid and new keto acid as para-hydroxy phenyl pyruvate. You can see instead of amino group, here it is a keto group now. So the enzyme is tyrosine transaminase, coenzyme required is pyridoxal phosphate. Now next, the PHPP, that is para-hydroxy phenyl pyruvate, undergoing a dioxygenase reaction in presence of vitamin C, incorporation of molecular oxygen. What happened? The second hydroxylation occurs and forming homogentisic acid with two hydroxyl group in its structure. And next reaction, this homogentisic acid undergoing oxidation in presence of homogentisic acid oxidase enzyme, which leading to the opening of the benzene ring system and forming the structure as formyl acetoacetate. In the next reaction, 4-malonyl acetoacetate undergoing an isomerase reaction in presence of glutathione, which gives 4-fumaryl acetoacetate. Then this 4-fumaryl acetoacetate in presence of another enzyme, hydrolase enzyme, breaking down this fumaryl acetoacetate into two molecules, that is acetoacetate and fumarate. Fumarate, we know that it is one of the intermediate of TCA cycle. All the TCA cycle intermediates can be act as a substrate for the gluconeogenesis. It can convert it back to oxaloacetate and can enter into gluconeogenesis for the production of glucose. And acetoacetate can be converted into acetyl coenzyme, and this can be utilized for the synthesis of ketone bodies or other lipids. In this way, the carbon skeleton of aromatic amino acids, phenylalanine and tyrosine, can be either glucogenic or ketogenic. This pathway, which explains all the steps in one single pathway, which explaining the catabolism of phenylalanine to fumarate and acetoacetate. So once again, phenylalanine to tyrosine, a hydroxylation reaction by phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. In detail, in presence of molecular oxygen, phenylalanine converted into tyrosine in presence of tetrahydrobiopterin and NADP. Tyrosine undergoing transamination by tyrosine transaminase to form PHPP, which in presence of another enzyme, PHPP hydroxylase enzyme or oxidase enzyme, in presence of molecular oxygen and vitamin C, converting into homogenic acid, which is also known as dihydroxyphenyl acetic acid. Then homogenic acid oxidase help for the opening of the benzene ring system and making it malonyl acetoacetate, then to fumaryl acetoacetate by fumaryl acetoacetate malonyl acetoacetate isomerase, then hydrolase enzyme breaking it into two, that is acetoacetate and fumaric acid. This is regarding the pathway or metabolism of tyrosine. Now, in today's class, we have to focus on the biologically important compounds derived from tyrosine. These compounds are catecholamines, thyroid hormones and melanin pigment. These three are the biologically important compounds derived from tyrosine. So, mainly catecholamines like dopamine, noradrenaline and adrenaline. Similarly, thyroid hormones like thyroxine and T3, then melanin pigment. Now, first of all, regarding the synthesis of melanin, all three compound synthesis has to be studied in detail. So, the first one, synthesis of melanin. Melanin, we know that it's a pigment, gives black coloration to the skin and hair. Usually, it's synthesized from the amino acid tyrosine, which is present in melanosomes. Melanosomes are the cells responsible for the production of melanin, present in deeper layer of epidermis. And remember, there is only one enzyme involved for the production of melanin, that is tyrosinase enzyme. Tyrosinase enzyme, which catalyzes in the first and second reaction. Remaining steps are non-enzymatic and spontaneous. Now, regarding the steps in detail, synthesis of melanin, I told only one enzyme is involved, that is tyrosinase enzyme, which is a monooxygenase enzyme. It requires copper ion as a cofactor to enhance the tyrosinase activity. So, in presence of tyrosinase enzyme, tyrosine undergoing hydroxylation to form the product is DOPA, that is dihydroxyphenylalanine. Again, the tyrosinase act on the DOPA to form dopaquinone. Then dopaquinone converted into indolquinone by decarboxylation and oxidation of side chain. Next, the polymerization of indolquinone can lead to melanin production. This pathway which explains the melanin synthesis. So first reaction, tyrosinase in presence of molecular oxygen which undergoing hydroxylation to form DOPA, that is dihydroxyphenylalanine. Again the tyrosinase enzyme acted on this DOPA to form the quinone derivative of DOPA, that is dopaquinone. Then dopaquinone undergoing loads of non-enzymatic reactions and polymerization to form indolquinone, then to melanin. Now the clinical application of melanin. Melanin deficiency due to tyrosinase deficiency or absence of melanosome can lead to diseases like albinism. Albinism is absence of tyrosinase in melanocytes all over the body. Then leukoderma or vitiligo. Here the tyrosinase or melanocytes are both absent from skin in certain exposed areas. Then graying of hair. Then copper deficiency. That means tyrosinase enzyme which require copper as the cofactor. So in copper deficiency, the tyrosinase activity will be decreased and depigmentation on the hair occurs that can be appeared as flag type hair. So this shows a picture for albinism. You can see the complete absence of melanin all over the body. Even the hair is extremely whitish in color. Then a reddish appearance of iris, etc., etc. Okay, so these people are usually sensitive to sunlight. The UV light exposure can then even leads to skin cancers. Then nystagmus. There may be photophobia when they walk in the sunlight. Then this shows the figure of vitiligo or leukoderma, white patches in certain exposed areas, especially on the face, then limbs, upper limb and the lower limb. And this shows the due to deficiency of copper or tyrosinase alternative black and white hair that is known as flag type hair. Now coming to the synthesis of catecholamines. Catecholamines, we know that they are the hormones usually synthesized by the adrenal medulla, then postganglionic sympathetic nerves, CNS, etc. So these catecholamines are collectively the hormones adrenaline, noradrenaline and dopamine are together known as catecholamines. Usually synthesized from the amino acid tyrosine. Adrenaline and noradrenaline act as hormones, whereas dopamine and noradrenaline which are produced in the CNS and postganglionic sympathetic nerves acting as a neurotransmitter in the central nervous system. This pathway which explains the synthesis of catecholamines. You can see the reactions. Tyrosine undergoing hydroxylation reaction in presence of tyrosine hydroxylase to form DOPA. Remember, this DOPA which synthesized in the adrenal gland and the postganglionic sympathetic system are different than that of the DOPA which is synthesized in the melanocyte. There the reaction was catalyzed by tyrosinase, but here the reaction is catalyzed by tyrosine hydroxylase enzyme in presence of tetrahydrobiopterin and presence of molecular oxygen. This reaction is almost similar to the first reaction which is catalyzing the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Okay, so tyrosine undergoing hydroxylation in presence of tyrosine hydroxylase to form DOPA, that is dihydroxyphenylalanine. DOPA undergoing decarboxylation by DOPA decarboxylase enzyme in presence of pyridoxal phosphate. It leads to the synthesis of the first catecholamine as dopamine. Then dopamine undergoing one more hydroxylation in presence of dopamine hydroxylase enzyme in presence of molecular oxygen and vitamin C. It leads to the production of noradrenaline. Then noradrenaline undergoing transmethylation reaction, that is the transfer of methyl group from S-adenosyl methionine to noradrenaline makes the methylated noradrenaline, that is adrenaline, or norepinephrine to epinephrine. Here The methyl group is donated by active methionine, that is S-adenosyl methionine. Itself will be converted into S-adenosyl homocysteine. The enzyme catalyzing this reaction is phenylethanolamine N-methyl transferase. You can just remember N-methyl transferase enzyme. So this pathway which explains the synthesis of catecholamines. Then the third product is thyroid synthesis, thyroid hormone synthesis. We all know that thyroid hormone is synthesized in thyroid gland. This thyroid gland consists of a protein known as thyroglobulin. Thyroglobulin is rich in tyrosine residue, the amino acid tyrosine. The presence of tyrosine makes the thyroglobulin which can undergo iodination. The iodination of tyrosine residue of the thyroglobulin is responsible for the synthesis of hormone thyroxine and triiodothyronine. So initially tyrosine residue of thyroglobulin undergoing iodination with a single iodine atom to form monoiodotyrosine. If it reacts with one more iodine, it forms diiodotyrosine. When mono and diiodotyrosine combine together, which leads to the formation of triiodotyrone, that is the hormone T3, or two molecules of diiodotyrosine combine together to give T4, that is thyroxine, another thyroid hormone. Or the thyroxine can undergoing deiodination. One molecule of iodine eliminated from the thyroxine can also lead to the production of triiodotyrone. This is all about the production of biologically important compounds from tyrosine. Now let's move to the disorders associated with the tyrosine metabolism. There are so many inborn error of metabolism associated with the tyrosine metabolism. One among the important inborn error of metabolism associated is phenylketonuria. So while discussing, you can write the names as phenylketonuria, then alkaptonuria, albinism, then other diseases like leukoderma, then hypertyrosinemias. All these are actually inborn error of metabolism associated with the tyrosine metabolism. So let us focus on phenylketonuria first. Phenylketonuria is due to the enzyme deficiency phenylalanine hydroxylase. I told in the first slide when we learned the reaction that leads to the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine, the enzyme catalyzed was phenylalanine hydroxylase enzyme. If there is any defect, genetic mutation, or either the enzyme is not synthesized or non-functional enzyme is synthesized due to genetic mutation, that is this phenylalanine hydroxylase, it can lead to the inhibition of that step which leading to the conversion of phenylalanine to tyrosine. Remember, it is an autosomal recessive disease, occurs 1 in 10,000 in European countries, etc. But in India, it is lesser incidence is reported, that is 1 in 25,000. Now, the biochemical abnormalities associated when there is deficiency of phenylalanine hydroxylase, there will be accumulation of phenylalanine. So, there will be increased level of phenylalanine in blood is occurred, that leads to deficiency of tyrosine, and also alternative pathways are open. The accumulated phenylalanine can channeled for the synthesis of the keto derivatives of phenylalanine such as phenylpyruvate, phenylacetate, phenyllactate, etc., and can be excreted through the urine. So, the keto derivative of phenylalanine excreted through the urine in these patients, that is why the disease name is given as phenylketonuria. This shows the alternative pathways in phenylketonuria. Phenylalanine undergoing transamination to form phenylpyruvate, then it undergoing phenylpyruvate undergoing reduction to form phenyllactic acid, or phenylpyruvate undergoing oxidative decarboxylation to form phenylacetate. Sometimes this phenylacetate can conjugate with another amino acid glutamine to form phenylacetyl glutamine. So usually phenylpyruvate, phenyllactate and phenylacetate are the keto derivatives of phenylalanine excreted through the urine in patients with phenylketonuria. Now the clinical symptoms of phenylketonuria. The patient will be severely mentally retarded with an IQ of 50 or less than 50. So this is one of the important inborn error of metabolism, having severe mental retardation. There will be delay in developmental milestones. Then microcephaly is there. Mousy odor of the skin, hair and urine. This is a typical feature of phenylketonuria patients. Mousy or musty odor of body fluids. It is due to presence of phenyl acetate accumulation. And obviously from tyrosine, the special hormones like adrenaline, then the neurotransmitters, etc. are not synthesized. That can be leads to hyperactivity, agitation, tremor, seizures, etc. So this may be due to the accumulated phenylalanine can interfere with the neurotransmitter synthesis. Obviously, not only that reason, tyrosine production does not occur. From tyrosine, the special compounds could be synthesized, but in absence of phenylalanine hydroxylase, there will be lack of tyrosine production, and also the neurotransmitters like noradrenaline, dopamine, etc. will not be synthesized. Now the diagnosis for the PKU. One of the important tests is ferric chloride test. It is a simple test where we can treat the urine sample of phenylketonuria patient with ferric chloride reagent. It gives a transient blue-green color that shows the presence of phenyl keto derivative in urine sample of PKU patients. But it is not a specific test. Next, we can estimate the level of phenylalanine in blood by using paper chromatography, tandem mass spectroscopy, etc. Normal level of phenylalanine in blood is 1 mg per deciliter. But in PKU, the level can be highly increased, nearly 20 mg, more than 20 mg per deciliter can be seen in case of PKU patients, the level of phenylalanine. Actually, one more test is there which is known as Guthrie test, which I have not included. Guthrie test is a microbiological test to understand the presence of phenylalanine in blood of patients with PKU. Here, a bacteria Bacillus subtilis require phenylalanine as a growth factor. So, to detect the presence of this phenylalanine, we should add phenylalanine PKU patient blood sample to the culture media and make the Bacillus subtilis grow into that culture media. So the growth of Bacillus subtilis bacteria will be directly proportional to the amount of phenylalanine present in the patient blood sample. So these are the tests. Then, now the treatment for PKU, early detection is mandatory because delay in treatment can cause the loss of IQ. 5 units IQ can be lost for each 10-week delay in starting treatment. And diet restriction. Low phenylalanine diet should be supplied. Tapioca based diet can be given. Now another disease or inborn error of metabolism associated is known as alkaptonuria. Alkaptonuria is due to deficiency of homogenesic acid oxidase enzyme. So fairly, the patient can have a normal life because it is not a life-threatening condition. Here only thing is that when homogenesic acid oxidase is deficient, homogenesic acid will be accumulated in blood and it will be excreted through the urine also. So this will be exposed and will be acted by enzyme polyphenol oxidase, which oxidizes homogenesic acid to benzoquinone acetate. This benzoquinone acetate can be converted into alkaptone bodies. This is known as alkaptone bodies, which is black in color. So initial symptom of the alkaptonuria is blackening of urine on standing. So diagnosis, collect the urine sample in a test tube. On standing, it will start to blacken from the top layer. And the ferric chloride test will be positive. Even it was positive with PKU. Benedict test is strongly positive because homogenesic acid is actually a reducing agent. So Benedict test also can be positive. Thank you. This is all about the metabolism of tyrosine. You should study mainly the biologically important compounds synthesized from tyrosine. Study that and study the disorders associated with the tyrosine metabolism, that is phenylketonuria, then alkaptonuria and albinism, etc. Thank you.